Hello folks, hope you're doing well. Yes, I went for a walk again about 8 o'clock. Well, I did I think last night and certainly again tonight. Well, because I had my meal at a reasonable time, probably about 5ish, 6 o'clock. And then I had a bit of ice cream and a bit of something else and a bit of something else. A couple of bags of crisps. Well, they're small. So I thought, okay, I better go for a walk. So, I burn off a few calories. So I thought, right, okay, do that. And bumped into a lady who was sitting on a slab of concrete. Or an old rock, I think it was more like. And I said to her, that can't be very comfortable. Well, she said she was waiting for someone. I then bumped into the people she was waiting for. A man and his wife from India. And so I was speaking to them for a little while. And I walked back with them in the end anyway to meet his sister. So we were speaking about India, speaking about Hinduism, speaking about what God's doing now. So it seems that there are opportunities to share. And so when there's opportunities to share, it's appropriate to share. Do I share as often as I'd like? Well, actually, to a certain degree, yes. I suppose so now. Yeah. A lot more now than what I used to. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Well, in the high street earlier, I was sharing with the Jehovah's Witnesses. So I shared with them and I share with the Hindus. So, yeah. Yeah, I certainly am sharing more now than what I was before. I shared with Dave the other day as well. And I shared with Stuart as well, just quite recently. So, yeah, that would have been about Monday, I guess, or Sunday. So it was Sunday with Stuart, Monday, I think, with Dave, or Tuesday with Dave. No, Wednesday with Dave, was it? Wednesday with Dave, I think, yeah. And then Friday with Jehovah's Witnesses and a Hindu couple. So, yeah, there's been a lot of sharing. Actually, when I think about it, it's quite weird because I was talking to God recently saying nothing's happening. Well, clearly something's happening. Therefore. Because that's a very interesting point. I've only just realised. Yeah, in this past week, I've shared what God is doing with 4 different people. So, in the space of a week. That isn't bad. Certainly for someone who really didn't speak very much about what God is doing to people. Well, I didn't have a clue what God was doing for most of the time. And, yeah, when I did the videos, I spoke about the things that the church wasn't speaking about. So, yeah. So, as I say, interesting. Yeah. It is a very interesting point of view that I'm now doing that. So that's pretty cool. I like that. I do indeed. I think that's an interesting point. I think that's good. Because what I was saying, as I said, just speaking to the Father and saying, what's happening? It seems that there's nothing going on. Clearly, there's something going on. So that's good. Okay. So yeah. Next week, it's quite possible I will walk down and speak to whoever is at that church now. Because I imagine there are different people there now. Be interesting just to say hello to the person who's in charge now. I don't know who that person will be, so be interesting. Yeah. And yes, I'm now doing different drink now, because I've done in the past cherry brandy. I've done summer fruit brandy. I've done blackberry brandy. I think I've done raspberry brandy, I think, before as well. The problem with brandy is you add the fruit to the brandy, and I was using Courvoisier brandy, which is nice enough. But the problem is, of course, you still have the taste of the brandy. So I thought I need to find something where the taste is simply the taste of the fruit, where you still have the alcohol content, but as tasteless as is possible. So I figured try vodka. So I'm now got two lots going. A cherry version, cherry vodka, and a blackberry vodka. And once they're done, I've got summer fruits and I've got plum, or wild plum, to do as well. So that'd be interesting. Yes. So the wild plum would be interesting because that should be flavoursome. Pear would be an interesting one, but again, I've got to find out a really, really tasty pear to do that with, because there's no point putting a normal pairing, because whenever I bought pears from, well, Tesco's, I'll normally go to, they've got no flavour at all. They really don't seem to have any flavour, so I'm going to have to try Marks and Sparks just to see whether they've got any with actual flavour, because there's no point adding pear to vodka, because you'll just get vodka. You get maybe infused with a bit of pear, but there's no point infusing. What's the point in that? You want to really taste of that. Now, pear can be a lovely taste. Even lemon and lime can be a lovely taste, but I don't really want to do that, because that's too common. No, I don't want to do that. So yeah, raspberry would be good. Gooseberry would be pretty good as well. So I will get more of those in future. Again, raspberries from Tesco's. I don't know what on earth do they do to their fruits. I think when they freeze them, they must take all the flavour out, because I tried the raspberries and they just don't have much in the way of flavour. Yeah, the fresh ones, you get them, and sometimes have them on deal, but they just don't taste. Yeah, unless my taste buds have died. Which I don't think so, because other things I can taste. I just, there's something going on with their fruits in sort of those sort of places. Yeah, I think the mass producing. Yeah, and the fact that they freeze them and they do whatever to them to preserve them. I think they must really be taking a lot of the flavour out. And certainly I think it's the case where they must get the cheaper versions. And the cheaper versions must be the ones with less flavour. Which is disappointing, but anyway, so yeah, moving on to vodka now. Gin would be another possibility, but then you've got the juniper taste. I don't really want that. Yeah, because although you can get fruits that can override that, and that'd be cool. We're giving it a go with vodka, because that might work. If that works, that's cool. That would do the job. Yeah. Well, yeah, because I say I'm now drinking. When I never used to. So, yeah. So that's good. Yeah. I was down went down to Tesco's earlier and speaking to a chap there that I used to see in the gym. And he says he's now going to cut for winter. I said, why are you cutting for winter? I said, normally you cut for summer. He says, well, yeah, I don't want to get cold. I said, what? I said, bulking in winter is the normal. Cutting in the summer is normally what people do. I said, well, you missed that then, haven't you? Anyway, so I was talking about what I do, about sewing the wrap down. And, yeah. There's one chap there saying, well, that seems to make sense, yeah. Well, as I said, when you sew the wrap down, you're making the muscle work longer anyway. So, really, the best idea is to do less weight, but really, really slow the wrap down. Because then you're making the muscle work 5 times longer, but with half the weight. So, therefore, the muscle is having to work more than it would do if you do double the weight at a normal pace. Yeah, I mean, certainly as you get older, you don't want to get injured. And so doing a lighter weight means you're far less likely to get injured. And if your technique isn't perfect, again, you're less likely to injure yourself because of that. If you're doing a lighter weight. Even if you're slowing the rep down, you're less likely to injure yourself because the weight is less. And because you're going slower also, you're not snapping the movement. So, yeah, you're more likely to be okay for that, or build up muscles that you wouldn't normally build up. If your technique is a bit off, then it means you'll be relying on other muscles you wouldn't normally have to rely on. Which is okay, because you'll build those muscles up. If you're going light enough. Well, not light enough, but if you're going lightish. So, well, for example, if your max is on dumbbells is 44 kilos each side, instead of 44, do 22. 22 kilos either side, and yeah, that way you're slowing down the rep and you're making your muscles work more, which is good. And so, yeah. Well, as I said to one bloke, I said also engage your upper back. So as you're coming down, so when you push the weight up, as you're coming down, pull your shoulders back to engage your upper back, then come down, and my God, you do feel it. Yeah, and you do. Woof. Yeah, that is really tough. Yeah. Yeah. Well, as I said, when I was doing 22k dumbbells, you do one set where you're doing normal chest press, one set on the inside, then one set fly, and you then repeat that. And so you do 2 sets of each. And yeah, that's tough. That can be tough, especially when you're slowing it down on all of them. Yeah, especially fly, when you're going as deep as you can with fly, as far back as you can with fly, and then you pull the weight up, because you are using really your upper back to pull that weight up now. You're not using your chest, because you've gone so deep. It has to be your rear shoulders and your upper back that's doing that, and that then does those areas. Because of course, if you haven't got cable crossover, what are you going to use? You've got to use what you can. And I haven't got cable crossover, so I use what I can. So there you go. So I'm going to leave you to it. You take care, God bless. I'll speak to you soon. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye bye.